What's up, everybody? This is David Jagneaux, aka the Jaggernaut, and today I want to talk to you about Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. This remaster just released for PS5, PC, and Xbox, as well as Game Pass this week. I'm playing on the PS5 version because that's my preferred platform. Let's dig into this remaster and see why I feel like it could be the perfect remaster. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying it's a perfect video game. Arguably, no game can be perfect because of biases and nostalgia and all that stuff, but I feel like in terms of a remaster, this is about as good as it gets. I think Virtuous, the developer that did this remaster, knocked it out of the park. I don't think it gets much better than this. I really think that this is about as good as you could have hoped for in terms of a remaster of a nearly 20-year-old game. Whenever Oblivion came out, it was incredibly ambitious in so many ways and extremely groundbreaking in even more ways. But a lot of it doesn't really hold up all that well. It doesn't stand the test of time in a lot of ways just because of its visuals and some of the underlying framework of the gameplay. It's a little janky, a little kind of, it has some jagged edges here and there like a lot of games from this era, but this remaster smooths over a lot of those problems, retains a lot of the quirk and personality that made it so unique, iconic, and beloved, and just brings it up to modern standards. It's the same game but better. And I think that's what you want any remaster to be. This is not a remake. This is not a reimagining. They didn't completely change what Oblivion is. This is still Oblivion. In fact, my understanding is the actual original game and the creation engine is running underneath the hood, powering a lot of the AI and logic and gameplay brain matter of this game. And then the Unreal Engine 5 game that we're playing on top of it is what you see. So they've sort of Frankensteined it together in a way that looks and feels and plays new while also being familiar and, authentic at the same time, which I think is incredible. I think they've done an amazing job. I could not really have asked for much more. I only have a few very tiny complaints. Like there are a few features that I do wish they had taken the time to add. Like it would be cool if you could, in the inventory, for example, if I could more easily see if something is better than what I have equipped. If there's some more sorting and organization options, if, maybe a few other things could have been updated, but really for the most part, this is about as good as it gets. Like I said, I'm only 4 or 5 hours in, so I'm still very early. But I just love that it still feels and plays like Oblivion. The lockpicking minigame is still here. Alchemy still works the same. Repairing stuff still works the same. Combat is so much better, especially melee. They added actual sound effects and hit reactions on enemies, so it actually feels like you're hurting them instead of just slinging a wet noodle around. They've done so much to make it feel and look better while still being the same. And I'm going to repeat that a lot because it's very, very important to understand that this is still Oblivion at its core. It just looks and plays better. And that's really all that I wanted. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat as me. I haven't played this game in probably over a decade, but as I wander around the streets of the Imperial City, I remembered where the different shopkeepers were that I like to go to. Muscle memory kicked in. It was like going back to a city that I had been to on vacation years and years ago and just reminiscing and remembering where things are and feeling like I'm running into old familiar friends and foes and frenemies and just weird characters and personalities. And I think that's so much about what the heart and soul of Oblivion is at the core of its design is all the weird quirkiness. All the characters just have such a distinct look and flavor to them. A lot of them look almost out of place in a strange way. Like it's almost like they don't belong. It's sort of weird and uncanny, but still charming at the same time. They actually went in and kind of improved a lot of the facial animation, so they do look better, but it's still goofy at the same time, and that's really important for it to feel like Oblivion, to have that goofiness. If they had completely redone a lot of the stuff and re-recorded voice lines, it wouldn't be the same game. So they didn't do that, and I love them for that. On the topic of voice lines, they did record some new lines because in the original game there wasn't enough storage space on the disc for them to have original voice actors for all the different races. So some of the races and characters had the exact same voice. which is a little weird. You know, let's be honest. It was strange. So they went back in and they recorded new lines for some of those races, so everything actually feels distinct now. But it still feels like Oblivion. Like I said, it doesn't feel strange or out of place. It feels like it was always there. I really love just everything about this remaster. I think from what I've seen so far, this is exactly what I would have wanted. This is a game that I'm probably not going to mainline. You know, Elder Scrolls games, I usually spend a long time getting through them, very slowly, gradually playing them, and that's going to be the case here as well. Elder Scrolls games are just generally games that I like to get really immersed in and slowly pick my way through. I don't really focus on the main quest very much, not until I'm much farther into the game. I might progress it a little bit just so I can get some things unlocked and start, you know, getting access to Oblivion gates and things like that. But for the most part, I like to just open up the map, pick a point in the distance, set a waypoint, and then just go there. I don't even fast travel very much. I like to explore on foot and on horseback. I like to, you know, talk to characters as I'm passing through, go through the different buildings and settlements and villages, go through all the different caves and fortresses and, you know, all the stuff. I like to really just sink my teeth into these games. Whenever I feel like really just getting lost in a world, that's when I play an Elder Scrolls game. So having a remaster of what is probably my favorite game in the series, just so I can boot it up whenever I'm feeling like going somewhere familiar but also new at the same time. It's so nice. And I really, really appreciate what they pulled off here with this remaster. I think there are some really nice subtle things that they changed. Like the UI you can see is less cluttered on screen. Your health, fatigue, and magicka go away whenever they're not either increasing or decreasing, which is great. The compass has been moved to the top of the screen like it is in Skyrim. It's also less cluttered. A lot of the icons just fade in and out a little better, so it's a little bit more nuanced and intuitive and looks nice. You know, the lockpicking is still here, which is great. I was never very good at it, but I am trying to get better. I'm very impatient, so it's a bit of a problem, but I will get better eventually. I made my own custom class, which is a feature that I'm glad they brought back. I made a paladin class, so I'm focused on things like blades, blocking, heavy armor, restoration, alteration, all that kind of stuff. And I really love that they allow you to do that. I think that the leveling system is sort of almost a hybrid of Oblivion and Skyrim. They did change it a little bit. In the original game, whenever you would level up, only your increase of your major skills would count to your overall level. But in this remaster, they've changed it so even your minor skill increases will count to your overall level, which is a great, 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 great change. It kind of unbreaks the way that leveling worked. Makes it so any build is more viable. You level up a little more quickly. It smooths out the level scaling as well, so there's not less of a difficulty cliff in the game. It's hard to really find much fault here, because if you don't like Oblivion, then you're probably not going to like this. But if you liked Oblivion or you never played Oblivion, then you're probably going to love this. And I think that's exactly what a remaster wants to do. What it strives to do is retain that soul of the original while improving upon it. And that's absolutely what they pulled off here. For my footage, I didn't capture it with my capture card. Unfortunately, the capture card was giving me some problems, and I played a lot of this in the living room on my couch. So I just used the built-in PS5 capture. So it's not super, super duper high quality, but believe me when I say the game looks gorgeous visually. Unreal Engine 5 is, you know, a great engine, other than some of the stuttering issues that it's notorious for. But visually, it looks fantastic. It just plays so well. It runs extremely well. I'm playing on PS5, and it just looks fantastic. It feels and plays so good. And I'm really happy that this came to PlayStation. I wasn't sure if it would when the rumors were swirling, but thankfully it did, and I couldn't be happier. You know, that's really all this is about. I'm probably not going to do a full review. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed watching this video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment, and let me know what you think. I'm going to end this video with a little snippet of some of the quirky weirdness that Oblivion is known for, so that you can see what I'm talking about. It's such a wonderful, magical, beautiful game, and I really hope you give it a chance to check it out.
You need something special? Check out my wares. You won't find this stuff at your local general store, that's for damn sure.